What's going on YouTube? JT's Born here, and welcome back to another edition of my Godzilla comic book reviews. In this video, we're talking about Godzilla, Monsters and Protectors. All Hail the King, issue number 5 of 5. So this is the final part in the All Hail the King storyline. I know that they're going to probably continue this thing because this is not the conclusion to this story overall. There's still a lot of lingering plot threads, and they basically set up a follow-up series. So this is not the end of the whole Monsters and Protectors era. We still got more stuff coming up along the way, especially with the Xiliens in this thing. But there is kind of a conclusion with Cedric and his rivalry with Karen, and the whole like monster connection with the kaijus, and there's teases for the stuff with the Xiliens in the next run. So there is some fun stuff I've had with this this little mini sequel series, if you will, with the Xiliens, and especially one of them just getting so mad just trying to troll this kid. I think there's some funny aspects to it that this series kind of explores a little bit, and there's an interesting idea of the kids and their link to Godzilla. I think that's an interesting way to have the human storyline more integrated with the monsters, with the kind of a psychic link, if you will. There's something kind of teased with that in, or kind of not fully explored enough, in Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla, where they had the whole Project T thing where they tried to control Godzilla. But the psychic connection from humans to kaiju is one that I always kind of enjoy. It's one of the things I liked about the Shobijin, the Mothra twins, and their connection with Mothra. I just think the idea of having that close of a connection to a giant monster is interesting, and what kid wouldn't want a giant monster for a pet, if you will? Although Godzilla isn't quite their pet here. He's more of somebody who's finally forming a connection with kids in that. But anyways, so the kids who spaced out multiple times in the previous series, with the twin fairies, June and May, who do their thing, at one point they're like, we got to help Godzilla. The teacher's like, okay, fine, I'm gonna wake up from this dream. She kind of realizes what's really going on here, and the kid's like, we got to borrow your car so we can get to the action. She's like, no, even though I don't really drive, I'm not going to endanger my students. We're going to do this, but we're going to do it safely. And she pulls out a drone. I'm like, okay, that's the reasonable thing an adult would do in a situation like this. I'm not going to endanger you kids, but we are going to monitor the situation safely. So we'll utilize the drone in this way. So Godzilla and Ghidorah are doing their fight. The kids, they think of a move. One of them thinks of an uppercut. One of them thinks atomic breath. Cedric, of course, even with his ego and hubris, he's just not able to get things to work. And yeah, he's been a real jerk this second series. All the fame in that went to his head, and he kind of has to be humbled a little bit by this thing. I mean, we've seen this before, but I was kind of hoping it would be done. Well, I mean, it's something I expected. If he's going to show this much hubris and ego in that, eventually he's going to kind of be put in his place. And eventually he is, and things are kind of resolved. And hopefully with the follow-up series, we don't get this much of an egomaniac in terms of Cedric and all that. So, or maybe he'll just like revert back. I don't exactly know. But anyway, so the kids have their connection. Godzilla is doing well, and then Cedric's issues are kind of complicating things. And that's when King Caesar shows up, and there's some good action in this thing. You get to see King Caesar use his abilities and Godzilla do sort of things and all these different team up aspects, which I like. Godzilla and King Caesar are only really teamed up in, well, unless there's some other comic that I can't think of off the top of my head, but most notably in the original Godzilla versus Mecha-Godzilla from 1974. That was a cool team up to see, and I always complained about King Caesar being kind of lazy and that he has to always be sung to woke up, and in here he shows up last minute, which he does, and him and Godzilla work really well together. They seemingly defeat King Ghidorah, which we do find later at the end of the issue. They're setting up Mecha-King Ghidorah for the next thing, because he got beat down pretty badly. But because Cedric and Emily, or Karen, why am I thinking Emily's another character, are having their issues going on right now, with them kind of fighting, that's affecting the kaijus fighting, and the kids kind of have to like sort things out, and then things are made peace by the end of the issue. So everything's kind of golden right here. Cedric's got his channel. He annoys the one Xilien guy who's been trolling him online and stuff, so that's always fun. And then they tease bringing in Mecha-King Ghidorah for the next series, wherever it ends up. So I think it'll probably come up later on this year, or maybe the start of next year, now that we're into 2023. I don't know, how long was the gap? I think it was like 5-6 months in between the first series and the second series that I covered on this channel. I don't exactly know. I'd have to look it up again. But anyways, that was Godzilla, Monsters and Protectors, All Hail the King. Like I said, there's some really cool aspects with it. There's some great looking artwork. Eric Burnham did well with that, and Dan Schoening did the art, and the colors and all that look pretty good. I enjoy the Monsters and Protectors series. It's definitely geared towards more of a younger reader base, but I get my Godzilla fix in it, and I really enjoy what IDW has done with the IP in general. So I don't know when the next Godzilla comic book is coming out. I think it's another Godzilla-verse thing. I'd like to see another Rulers of Earth again. Something along the lines of that. I mean, this is kind of like the most ongoing storyline that we have right now in terms of Godzilla comics with IDW. We're going to probably get some Monsterverse comics later on this year, I would assume, either this year. Actually, there is one that's supposed to come out this year. It's part of like a Kickstarter campaign or something that Legendary did, where it's going to be a little anthology story within like a collection or whatever. I'll have to see if I can pick that thing up if it's going to release digitally. And then when that is, I'll definitely do a video of it on the channel. I probably should cover more of the Monsterverse comics. You know what? Maybe I might do that some point this year. So yeah, like I said, there's some interesting aspects to it. There's some good looking artwork, and I'm glad we do have some sort of an ongoing series when it comes to the Godzilla IDW comics. I think Godzilla is a rich IP that is definitely worth exploring more and more. And I think they do a good job in this thing. I think, like I said, it's geared towards younger readers. Yeah, maybe it's not for everybody, but I enjoyed the kind of lighthearted nature of it all. And I'm somebody who even likes Godzilla's Revenge, mind you. I like the more lighthearted kids and giant monsters thing. It's even enjoy that aspect with the Gamera things. Maybe it brings me back to a time when I was a kid and I always just had that fascination with giant monsters, and I always got jealous that the kids got to like be friends and interact with Godzilla or Gamera or whatever monster. I don't know, just there's always something about kids and giant monsters. It just kind of spoke to me. It's just something I kind of always just admired. But yeah, so anyways, those are my quick thoughts on it. I do think it's worth checking out, and I do hope IDW does another ongoing series kind of similar to Rulers of Earth at some point. I think that'd be really cool. But anyways, if you have any thoughts on Godzilla Monsters Protectors, All Hail the King, let me know in the comment section down below, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, all that other fun stuff. I'm gonna wrap things up. I got places to be, but I appreciate everybody for watching this video and subscribing to the channel, sharing this stuff, and all that other fun stuff. All right, as always, take care now. Bye-bye then, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.